Here's a quick little test you can ask yourself today. Are you on autopilot? Hmm.
Mm.
Welcome to Huddle Up. I'm Duane Gibbs alongside my partner Mark Bruce, the Hall of Famer, and we come to you every Wednesday and Friday with a quick mindful thought. With that being said, let's huddle up.
How you doing? I'm going to try not to be on autopilot today, for sure.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah,
It's important.
absolutely. So I wanted to start off by again asking the question, are you on autopilot? And I think that question is really important because, you know, I can tell you myself, I really try and stay conscious of doing something different every single morning to start my day off. Typically, I get up, I read some scripture, I go through some notes, I go through my to do, I do my journaling. I before that, I go in and make some coffee. But I tried to either get out on the other side of the bed. I know it sounds crazy. I go in and sometimes put cold water to my face and then go out and start hot water for my coffee, or I'll pop in a K cup and make coffee. So I always try and do something different. And it sounds crazy, I know, but it just gets my pattern thinking, my process throughout the day a little bit different because what happens is when you're on autopilot, time passes by. It sneaks up on you quickly, and from the outside, everything looks fine. You show up, you're ready to handle your business, but on the inside, you lose some spark. You're not as hungry as you used to be. You feel like today's going to be just another mundane day. I'm going to go through the actions. I'm going to go through the motions. I'm just feeling like a hamster wheel on a I feel like a hamster on a hamster wheel and just feeling stuck. And what happens is you just become stable and nothing changes.
Did your vice principal in high school teach you to do different things and to get out on different side of the bed?
Uh,
Yeah.
well, as some of you may not know, Mark's dad was my high school principal, assistant principal, and
Yeah.
no, he didn't teach us
No,
that. He
no, okay,
taught
okay,
us
okay.
how to get to class on time every single day. That's what he would teach
Okay. So
us.
anyway, when I was growing up, he's like, "All right, now you need to brush your teeth with your right hand one day and with your left hand on another day, and get out. Same thing. Get out of the bed on a different side. You don't want to get in a rut.
Yeah.
You don't want think your life to be monotonous. And well, the right hand and left thing was for basketball to make sure that I was ambidextrous and I could do things with either hand. But
Hmm.
anyway, the dangerous part of being on autopilot is nothing. It doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like you're at peace. You're doing your routine. You're doing your routine. You're doing your routine. You're doing your routine. It just feels normal.
Hmm.
But there's a difference between being at peace and being asleep at the wheel.
Yeah,
You know,
for
when
sure.
you stop challenging yourself, your brain adapts, and the winds that used to excite you, they don't hit the same. And slowly, without even noticing it, your world just gets smaller and it gets monotonous.
Yes. And so I think a lot of people are living in that same situation right now. They're dealing with so much noise that's around them, whether it be the growing of AI, your phone, you have so many apps going, you feel like people are texting you, messaging you, you have emails, you got to feel like, hey, I got to accomplish all this. Not saying you don't, but here's the difference between surviving and living. Self-awareness is the foundation. When you can't change what you want, then that's a problem. You got to want to change. You got to be able to change what you're doing because if not, you burn out. Things just lose that spark and you find that you can't progress forward.
Yeah, here's the thing. Growth does not require a crisis.
That's right.
You don't have to hit
Good
rock.
way of saying that. Good way
You
of saying that.
you don't have to hit rock bottom just to make a change. You can as long as you're honest with yourself and say, "Hey, this isn't enough for me anymore." You know, you can appreciate where you are and still demand more of yourself. You can still be grateful for what you had and what you have, but you can still want more. So here's what I want to leave you with today. Autopilot's a warning sign. This week, I challenge you to break that one habit, brush your teeth with your left hand if you're right-handed, get out of the other side of the bed like Duane does, take a different route to work. Hey, have a conversation that you've been avoiding. Autopilot's kind of like when you're on autopilot, it's kind of like cruise control. And if you could be at the Daytona 500 going 200 miles an hour, but if you're on cruise control, you might finish the race, but you're not going to win it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. So let me say this. Let me slow it down and say it doesn't have to be a revolutioning idea, but you have to do something for disruption. You got to disrupt something because the moment that you break that loop, I don't want to say you wake up, but that's the first thing that comes to me. You wake up, you stop running the same game, the same play. You're running something different in life. Autopilot will get you somewhere, but it won't get you where you actually want to get to. It takes you off that wheel and you start finding yourself being more creative, more energetic, more mindful, and you're just not on that hamster wheel.
Yeah.
I think that if you try this, you're going to find out that you know what, I did something different today, and now I have more of a spark. Don't know what that is. Can't contest to it. Of getting out of the other side of the bed. That did it for me, but something did it. I would say I would challenge you, the listener. We appreciate you tuning into this episode of Huddle Up. Join us every Wednesday and Friday as we come to you with a quick mindful thought. Also, check us out every Monday where we do Huddle for Success podcast. Last anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. We have special guests on. We dig deeper into conversations. With that being said, stay huddled up and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Huddle Up, where we come to you every Wednesday and Friday. Like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on YouTube and on social media. If you find this information helpful, share this with someone that you know. We'll see you next time on Huddle Up.